Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Feature Friday. I'm Jacqueline, and I'm here to interview another chamber member. We have Tony DeSantis from Community Living. Hi, Tony.
Hi,
Thanks for
Jacqueline. How are you?
joining us today. We're just
My
going to
pleasure.
get started and ask you a couple questions. So tell us a little bit about Community Living.
Well, this is quite the year for us. We're celebrating our 60th anniversary. We became an organization, I guess, way back in 1961. So we've been providing services to people with intellectual disabilities since then. Really quite a grassroots organization. We are, when I tell people this, it kind of surprises them that, we are one of the largest employers in Essex County with 700 people, both divided between full-time and part-time. So, it started off with basically parents coming together way back when, and they had, children with an intellectual disability, and they got together and formed an association, which basically became Community Living. Over the years, we've had several name changes, but and we are one of the biggest ones in the Southwestern Ontario area, with the number of people that are employed by us, and also the number of people actually that we provide services to. So we're sitting at well over 700 people that are also receiving services, and there is quite a number of other organizations, a lot of other community living organizations across the province, and they're all identified by the community. So you do have Windsor, a Community Living Windsor, which does basically the city of Windsor, and we do the rest of it. We do the county. There is, Community Living Chatham, Wallaceburg, London, goes on and on. So we belong to Community Living Ontario. So it's really neat. I mean, they provide their strength in numbers, obviously. So we work on advocacy work and hand in hand with them and other organizations locally. But as an organization, we provide lots and lots of supports. I mean, we've been around long enough that I believe that people, especially in the Amherstburg area, we've got quite the hold in the Amherstburg area because we're pretty active in things that we're doing there. But I can kind of give you a rundown quickly as to what some of the stuff that we've been doing. I think people will be familiar with it, if that's okay.
Oh, I would love that. That goes right into our next question of what you specialize in. So go ahead, Tony, take it away.
Okay, great. Well, we have one of the biggest ones, biggest areas is community living supports or community participation supports, where we link adults with an intellectual disability to meaningful leisure, recreation, and some practical learning and volunteer opportunities. So they're basically daily activities that are unique to each person's interests, and they're supported, provided by staff. They're, helped along, and people participate in activities, that reflect their own specific interests and abilities. And like I said, support workers provide assistance, when needed, and they're there to also inspire and encourage people with intellectual disabilities. But we've got people volunteering, at different locations. It could be, service clubs, churches. They could be attending educational courses. Obviously, that's very difficult now with the past year with the COVID pandemic. Right. But a lot of it is all about creating community connections. Hence the name Community Living, being part of the community and being a part of participating actively in the community. So a lot of it is, connecting with the communities, and everything from, like I say, education or even accessing, recreational activities locally. So it's really being a part of the community, and we provide supports in that. The other one, which is huge, we have a very modernized employment service for people who are interested in, getting into part-time or full-time work, and it's called Career Compass. We've had lots and lots of success, especially in the Amherstburg area as well. There's lots of employers who have participated in this particular area and support. What we do is we try to assist people to develop, work-related skills, assist with their job seeking opportunities, and really looking for meaningful employment. Providing on-the-job coaching if it's needed, and direction, as well as preparing for the interview, preparing the resumes, and then making that connection to the local employer. So, like I said, we've had lots of success with Career Compass, where we've had people we support who they start off on the program and then become employed with meaningful employment, whether it be part-time or full-time, with that respective employer. So lots of success with that. And it's kind of ironic. Years ago, and I mentioned this because it was involved with the chamber, and I was doing a presentation with a person who had that we provided supports to, and it was at a Business After 5 at a chamber event in Amherstburg. And I did the introduction, and she took over from there. And she was talking about how great she felt, and that she was now contributing to society and being a part of, contributions to society. And she was working, and I believe it was a part-time position, if I'm not mistaken. It may have led into a full-time position. But what was ironic was people were sitting there. These are business leaders from the Amherstburg area. Were sitting in the room, and she said something that was really striking. She said, it makes me happy that I am now a taxpayer. And who would say that? She said, I'm happy that I'm contributing to the community as a taxpayer. I'm working and providing my fair share. And I spoke to some members of the chamber who approached me after, and they said they were just blown away in the fact that that's true. I mean,
Attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, I mean, it was just they were like, she's employed. She's like everybody else. But nobody
something that we take for granted, but we really are blessed that we're able to find employment. And you're right, and that's a good message to share today.
Yes, I mean, so the business are suddenly realizing, wait a second, this is not just something that helps the person that's looking for employment. It's helping our municipality. It's helping us pay for the repair of sidewalks and doing all those kind of things. So you could see the light bulbs in the room suddenly come on. It's like, wait a second here, this is great. So anyway, that's in directly relation to the Career Compass. A couple of other things quickly.
It's a great message, especially with everything going on these days. It's nice to share. So about the Career Compass, how would you pair an individual with a career or a job per se? Is it more or less you speak with them about what their interests are? Is it a trial and error period? How does that work?
Well, it is based on what they're interested in, and obviously the availability and realistic expectations. So we are a highly qualified Career Compass staff, have been working on this for a long time in this field. So they'll do evaluation through interviews and try to determine what realistically is available in the community, what might lead there, and ask, are you looking for part-time work, full-time work? What's available? Are you able to knock on doors and with our assistance, or do we provide the placement? And then they obviously do the follow-up as well. But a lot of that is done beforehand. A lot of front-end loading, if you will, to determine the match. So they're dealing with the local employer. So the employer is saying, I've got a need for a particular employee, and I'm considering someone with an intellectual disability. They'll provide us with basically a job description and all the specs on the job. Then we'll try to match that up with the interests. We find that success is the best when we do that. So, and along the way, there's job coaching when it's needed. The idea is to really allow them to develop the relationship with the employer, and that the employer, they directly report to the employer, and that they any issues and those kind of things hopefully are worked out with the employer themselves if there are any issues, and there's a relationship that's developed there. So we kind of back out after, and that becomes a natural progression, as it would be with anybody else. So we're there at the beginning, but then we back off. So
absolutely. So if there was an individual or a family that is looking for employment, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, they can get in touch with us at by our website, probably, because we have tons of information on there. So it's www.communitylivingessex.org. So www.communitylivingessex.org. So go to the website. You'll see the services. There'll be specifically a site for Career Compass. They can click on that and then start the process as far as the individual that their son or daughter that's looking for employment obviously has to be a part of the system. So we have to get into registration with us and see if they're eligible, and that's when the ball starts rolling. So, but there are a couple of other things that I do want to mention that our organization.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have anything upcoming.
Yeah, there's lots of other. Yeah, there's some things that are upcoming, but there's a couple of other things I wanted to mention just quickly in terms of our supports. We provide supported residential living as well. So for those folks, that we support, they're looking, we provide a unique 24-hour support for youth or adults who live in a community living Essex County owned home. So, we have qualified staff that that work with them on work with people with their medical issues, any finances, working with establishing a bank account, and basically active living, and kind of get their life kind of set that way. So we provide assistance that way. And then also we have respite support, which is temporary breaks for caregivers, either short-term, long-term scheduled respite for children, youth, and adults. Mom and dad may have, they have a large family and they have a child with an intellectual disability, and it gives them a bit of a break, let's say on a weekend, a short-term, and allows them to spend some time with, some of their other family members. And it's only temporary relief for the caregivers, but that's also quality care that's provided to the loved one through the organization. And it's a nice opportunity also for people we support, because it increases their social circles as well. They get to meet other people as well during the respite time. And I know of this because I worked with the organization way back in, I won't say when, but I was going to University of Windsor. It was a part-time job. That's where I began on the weekends, so I know a lot about that. Upcoming events. Oh my goodness, COVID has really taken an impact on a lot of worthwhile charities. Last year, we and I really hate to use this word, and staff members know this, but the whole pivot thing, we did it. We had our biggest fundraising event is a Roof and Apple Festival, and
Okay.
And we were able to change that over, or switch it over, instead of using the word pivot, switch it over
That's
to
right.
switch it over to a virtual event, and we were very successful. We put together Apple Fest in a basket, and we sold out on these things. They were items that would have been either sold at the Roof and Apple Festival, or kind of Apple-related products that are from Essex County. They were put in a basket and sold, and we sold out of those. And so we're going to double. We had 100 of them. We had still a week left before the event, so we're going to do that again this year. Yeah, we're going to do that again this year. And also, right on the horizon, we have our lottery. We're having because of our celebration, we're celebrating 60 years as an organization in September. We're doing a lottery, a pretty significant lottery that will be announced. It's called 60 for 60, and that will be rolled out about the middle of June. And so that's going to be happening. And then, of course, we have our annual general meeting coming up in a couple of weeks, and and we're working on that as well. And Apple Fest, of course, we're working on that diligently, trying to work on making sure everything is, we're kind of trying to double the number of baskets that we're going to sell. So we're constantly looking for sponsors and supporters. So I'm putting a call out to those businesses in Amherstburg too. I know we've hit many of you before. We have a relationship with you. We have a very strong relationship with the municipality and with the mayor and the councillors. We just had our mayor's luncheon, very successful, and we had lots of participation from the municipality. So we're very, very grateful for them. And so thank you for the local businesses, and also obviously the group, and of course we're connection to the chamber as well. We have one of our staff members who is also a member of the chamber, and I believe sits on the board of directors. So
yes, he does. Well,
fact,
thank you. Thank you, Tony. You answered all of our questions, and you gave a lot of great information. So we'll let everyone know that your upcoming promotions, I assume they can find this on the communitylivingessex.org. So your 60 for 60 lottery that's happening in September, everyone can find that online. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are. What I would suggest is those of you who are on social media, check out our Facebook page. Lots of that information will be on there with links to purchasing tickets. The actual lottery will begin about the middle of June and will carry up until the day of the actual draw will be held in September. Just so folks know, the grand prize is $10,000. So and there's a limited number of tickets. So you can find all that information on our website. So again, www.communitylivingessex.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for all the information today. Congratulations to Community Living for, you said 61 years or 60 years?
60 years coming up.
60 years. Congratulations. Yeah. It's obvious all the excellent work that you've done, well, that community living has done throughout the county and the province. And we hope for another 60 more years. So thank you, Tony. And thank you everyone for joining another episode of Feature Friday. We'll see you in 2 weeks.